Tonight on Supersize versus Superskinny, the feeding clinic gets 2 more food casualties. Biker Eddie is the leftover king of the road.
I always think to myself, right, I'm going to actually cook twice the amount of rice that I need, so I can actually have fried rice the next day.
And hectic food hater from Hartlepool, Louise.
I wish I could just put a big meal in a little pill, take the pill and get on with my day.
They're destroying themselves with diets so dangerous, they could literally prove fatal.
Being as big as I am at the moment, I will probably not make another 40 years.
And it's an emotional week for both Supersize and Superskinny. Our 4 anorexics reflect on how far they've come over the last 8 weeks.
I think what I've started to learn is that it's okay to challenge yourself.
And actually enjoy eating their final meal together.
Absolutely wonderful.
Is it?
Yes, absolutely beautiful.
And Anna Richardson's investigation into the body beautiful reaches a rather wet conclusion. For the next 5 days, Edmund and Louise will be taking part in our diet swap experiment, where they'll exchange a typical week's food intake, meal for meal. The swap will be overseen by Dr. Christian Jessen, who's hoping to shock Supersize and Superskinny into changing their bad habits. This week's Superskinny is Louise. She's a waitress whose hectic job means she barely eats to live.
Being a waitress, I'm on my feet most of the day. Whatever I do eat is burnt off pretty much straight away.
When Hartlepool lass Louise does get home, eating's a chore, so her diet's made up of anything bland and quick.
Beans on toast, it's easy. Oven ready meal, that's easy. Soup's easy, anything that's easy and quick.
Sometimes you'd want to shake her and say, come on, Louise, you know, get something down, yeah? But you can't force her. She's got to want to do it for herself.
Louise links her bad dietary habits to early childhood experiences of meal times.
On an evening, I'd have cornflakes and avoid having what my mum would cook me. And she'd sometimes say, you're not moving until you've eaten that. So I'd stick my hands in it, play with it, you know, and then she'd say, well, you can't eat it now, you've had your hands in it, put it in the bin, and that would be my way of getting out of eating.
Louise, I'm Christian. Nice to meet you. How are you? Okay. Let's start straight away with the height and weight bits, okay? So take your dressing gown, stick it on the chair. If you stand on there. You weigh 97 pounds.
At a tiny 6 stone 13, Louise has slipped under what is considered to be a healthy BMI.
What kicked off these bad eating habits that you have?
From a child, I've never eaten much. I've always tried to miss meals when I was a child.
Why was that?
I don't know, I just wasn't a lover of food. Never have been.
And what about the health side of things then?
The health side, I have bad skin, I'm pale, circled under my eyes. I'm always tired.
What would you like to get out of this week?
Change my attitude towards food, have more knowledge about food, and maybe I'd find a love of it and accept that you have to eat.
As Louise fast approaches 30, she's desperate to change. The years of bad eating have left her exhausted, and now they're destroying her self-esteem.
When I look in the mirror, I feel disgusting, really. It's just bones and a young person's body. I don't see a woman. I'm looking to be a mother in the future, and I don't feel mothery. I feel like a kid. So I'm more worried now than I've ever been about my weight. I just think, look, now's the time to change, because if I don't do it now, I never will.
But help is at hand for Louise in the form of Supersize Eddie from Milton Keynes.
378 pounds.
Eddie tips the scales at a whopping 27.5 stone, and he's a ticking time bomb. With a history of high blood pressure in his family, he needs to radically change his diet before it's too late. Biker Eddie's bad diet begins at 6:30 a.m. with a burly breakfast.
A typical day's food for me would usually start with the leftovers from the night before, whether that be rice, noodles, meats. If I have leftovers and there's not quite enough, I'd throw in another packet of noodles just to bulk it up.
If you're having a Chinese takeaway the night before and you think, oh, I'm full, and it'll all get scraped in a bowl and you'll go, ah, lovely, that's breakfast.
Working as an IT programmer gives Eddie an ample excuse to indulge his enormous appetite.
Mid-morning snack, it would be a packet of crisps and some biscuits maybe. And then for lunch, it will be again rice, noodles, meat dish. And then in the afternoon, packet of crisps. And then when I'd get home, a tray of chicken breasts, noodles, and then a glass of wine, maybe a beer.
39-year-old Eddie's been eating this way ever since he can remember.
My mother and father both enjoyed cooking. Grew up in a big family, so therefore food was a big part of the day. We weren't very well off, so we had to have bulk foods. And then as I grew up, as money became better, and we started having things like rice, chicken, and that was a luxury food. So therefore I think because it was such a luxury for me, that's why I eat so much of it now.
Right, Edmund, I've done my sums, and your BMI comes out at 55. Anything above 40 we call morbidly obese because there's a significant risk of disease and actually death as a result of weight. You're very nearly off my scale, which is worrying. You've got high blood pressure?
Yes.
Already diagnosed, and that's something that runs in your family?
Yes, I'm not sure about my mum. She died quite young. But my dad, he had high blood pressure, was diagnosed with hypertension, and so is my older brother and my older sister.
Your weight is absolutely going to make it 100,000 times worse, and also 100,000 times more likely that you're going to run into problems as a result of having high blood pressure. But I'm hoping that you're slightly aware of that, because that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
Why have you not been able to do anything about it?
Laziness. I think I got into a habit and I didn't see a need to break that habit until now. I know I'm killing myself if I carry on like this.
And as Eddie reaches 40, for him, it's now or never.
It's causing me pain. I can't be comfortable when I'm laying down, seated, standing. I can't walk from A to B without being in constant pain. Being as big as I am at the moment, carrying this much weight, means that I will probably not make another 40 years.
Eddie and Louise are extreme opposites, but they're about to come head-to-head.
I'm Eddie.
Louise, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You're absolutely tiny, look at you. I didn't realise until I met her just how small somebody could be. Yeah, they really are super skinny. That's a tiny little arm.
He's tall and he's quite manly, and I just felt like a little child stood next to him.
It may seem drastic, but swapping diets is the last resort to getting Eddie and Louise to think about their intake of food.
Louise, we're going to start at breakfast. I think that's coffee. Sometimes I think you just have a coffee on its own, don't you? Yeah? Nothing else? Otherwise it's a bit of toast. Anything on it?
Marge, maybe.
Maybe your lunches are a bit more substantial. That looks like a soup. Half a sandwich? Not a whole... Why half a sandwich?
One fills me.
All right, let's have a look at your dinners. Oh, I'm quite surprised by that. Crisps and sweets? Explain yourself, Louise. You can't, can you? Does that strike you as a proper dinner?
No.
No?
No.
Let's have a look at the other things. Oh, look, what a surprise. Another sandwich. How does that look to you now?
Looks enough.
That looks enough. Are you serious? I'll tell you now, as a doctor, this is not a healthy diet. There is no variety. You're getting through about 900 calories a day.
An average woman should consume 2,000 calories. Not only is Louise under-eating, she's also missing out on most of the vitamins and minerals her body requires.
Let's start with breakfast for you, OK? Oh, yum. Now, Edmund, you are the leftover king, aren't you?
Yeah.
Tell me about this.